Okay, my name's Daniel. During this strange time, I've just been working from home, staying with my housemate.
How come the swing behind you is chained up?
Chained up, I assume, to prevent or dissuade people from anticipating in playing outside because of COVID-19. You have to stay at home, right? So
I realise that actually that reproduction rate, as it's called, is going on. Vicky, I'm going to interrupt you now. The Prime Minister has just appeared. Let's hear what he has to say.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this latest Downing Street press conference. First of all, I want to update you on the latest data in our fight against coronavirus. I can report through the government's ongoing testing and monitoring programme that as of today, 1,921,770 tests for coronavirus have now been carried out in the UK.
Tower Hamlets is a very multicultural borough. I believe we have a bit of everything here. We got a lot mixed race people, we got, a lot of Asians, people from everywhere really. I mean, I know a lot of Brazilians that live around here, and Italians, Spanish, Bangladeshi people here. There's a lot of Bangladeshi people, Pakistani, Indians.
That's an increase of 210 fatalities since yesterday. This figure...
One of the reasons we opened the shop, because we work with a lot of key workers, people that work in hospitals, that ride a bike, delivery drivers, and I needed to get, to get some income, because I'm still paying my rent for the shop. It's a difficult one because we are trying to live in as much normality as we can and trying to get on with our lives in the best possible way. It is a lot quieter, it's a lot difficult. Yeah, I think one day we're gonna have a story to tell to our grandchildren that we have to stay in quarantine for so many months and we couldn't go out, we couldn't go to a restaurant, we couldn't, go to a shop to buy clothes and stuff. And yeah, it's like I said, I never thought in my lifetime that I would go through something like this. It looks like we lived in a real movie. There is a saying that you need to be hit hard to wake up and to realize what's really is important and what's what.
The level of primary determined by far than the number of
I don't know, I think when things become to a more normal way of life again, things will be different. I think it will be different. People will take more time to spend time with each other. Families will stay together more. I think, parents will appreciate the kids more, or the parents or the grandparents, I'm missing my parents, My dad went on holiday and he's stuck there for nearly 4 months now in Brazil. So we need people. We need each other. People go to the mosque, people go to the church, they want to be together, they want to talk together, they want to have dinner together, they want to go in a restaurant, you want to meet people, you want to go to the pub, you want to go to the club, I believe if we live in a society, the name says society, we live together. You don't want to keep distance because that's no society. I hope when this is over, it's really over, that we will be able to shake hands again and hug our friends. And because, I'm from Brazil. Latin American people are warm people. We like hugging, we like touching each other. We like, in a good way.
It was interesting because when they shut Victoria Park down, we saw quite a lot of people around here. And there was a while where I just didn't want to go outside much at all. I've had quite a lot of anxiety around it. I had pneumonia when I was 6 that nearly killed me. So there's some part of me that just, the thought of getting pneumonia and being on oxygen in a hospital has really, really deeply unsettled me. So I think I've probably taken it a lot more seriously than some people. But I'm starting to relax a little bit. My son has dwarfism, so that's been an additional cause. Although he's not on the high-risk list, his airways and everything are more compressed and smaller. So I've been worried about him getting, any kind of respiratory illness he normally really suffers from. So I wonder how much he'll actually remember. And like you say, he hasn't had a lot of life experience. So in many ways, he doesn't know that much different. And I think he's kind of enjoyed being home. I don't think it's been a terrible shock to him. We've told him not to touch anything because everything's covered in poo. I don't know how long it's going to take him to get over that. Whether he'll be like a habitual hand washer when he gets older, like have some severe form of OCD. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully we've raised him so he doesn't have to have too much therapy.
In turn, that COVID alert level will determine the level of social distancing measures in place. And the lower the level, the fewer the measures, the higher the level, the stricter the measures. Throughout the period of lockdown, which started on March the 23rd, we've been at level 4.
I mean, look, I got birds tweeting. I'm in the kitchen cooking my food, and I'm like, I've got all the windows open, and I'm thinking, what is that noise? It's birds tweeting. Do you know what? I just hear them at the crack of dawn when they used to come from the landfill over there, the gulls. Now I'm hearing pigeons or whatever those birds are, tweeting and singing, and that's kind of been a blessing in disguise. I go down to the canal and I see, God, there's things in the water actually. The swans look happier. It all seems very calm, but I don't know that when we go back, or when this is over, if we're going to go back. If we go back, this will all have been a complete waste of time. I've got to say, it's the quietest it's ever been. I mean, there's not even a party happening. There's not even any loud music. When I say party, there's not even a virtual party happening. It's so quiet. I am kind of beginning to wonder where have all these people gone to? Why are they not all screaming at each other? Because, I'm in my house by myself. And I know some people have got to be there with their kids on the 10th floor of a block of flats with 4 kids. It's not fun, For my friend, it's not fun. She's at the end of her tether because she can't really let them out because, how do you tell 4 kids under the age of 12 about social distancing? So there's lots of things I'm recognising out of all of this is the mental effect that it's having on people that you kind of all sort of been really, got it sorted. It's I think it's been as traumatic whether you're this age or whether you're that age. And some people are going to feel the effects of this as a trauma, especially all those nurses, doctors, anybody in uniform. They're going to be, there's some people that will be really traumatised by this. Where have all the homeless people gone? In Soho, I see all those pictures my friends send me. And I'm around here and I kind of go, well, what's happened to all these people? Where are they? The minute that the government says we're back to work, we're back to normal, are we just going to go back to normal? That's my biggest fear because there's nothing can be normal after this. If we as humans can't take the step back to kind of look at where we are today and how we got here, and I think there's a bit of fixing to do, socially and economically.
If you can't get what you need from, the social security, the things that our taxes are meant to be paying for, then we're just going to have to step in. We're going to have to make it known. I think what's been interesting in the mutual aid group is that a lot of people have been quite resistant to the idea of it being political. And we've had to kind of say to people, I'm really sorry, but this is political. Everything's political. And, if we don't kind of fight for things and fight for everyone, to have PPE and, that children and families and poorer backgrounds are living in cramped quarters, that some people have no recourse to public funds. You know, and what happens to those people in a situation like this, and when this is over, what happens to them again? You know, it's really, I really hope that we can fill in the gaps, because I think as well, like, I'm a child of the 80s. It was all me, but it didn't make me happy. What's made me happier is being part of a community and being a mother and kind of letting big things affect me, actually, not turning away anymore, you know, actually reaching in and trying to help in some way the most vulnerable.
I have a background in palliative care around my studies, it's end of life, and it has never ceased to amaze me. Even in one ward, in kind of one moment, you can be performing the last offices with someone and helping someone say goodbye to a treasured loved one, and the next minute you're making someone a cup of tea and chatting with them about their granddaughter's stool dance or something. So that duality of life is something we see hour by hour on a general medical ward. It feels very weird for that to have translated into the wider world right now, but at least I guess it's giving us an appreciation of the calm, and yeah, I guess it's making everyone realise what's really important to them, which is never, I guess, a bad thing to be reminded of. I'm not going to pretend this has been the most positive time in my life at all. Like, it is naturally very difficult, but I'm a forever optimist, so trying to hold on to the silver linings. But yeah, so I moved into Tower Hamlets. I've been here just over 2 weeks now. The community is very noticeable. It's definite, just melting pot of people that we don't see kind of that variety in Oxford. I'm learning a lot about the amount of spoken languages that are in the area and just the diversity of the culture and the patients we're therefore unfortunately seeing present to intensive care, because there are statistically higher risk factors with some of kind of the same kind of cultures. So unfortunately, yeah, we're seeing patients who are very sick from lots more minority ethnic groups than we perhaps have in Oxford. And when we're talking about something that presents with flu-like symptoms, I don't think your mind instantly goes to how bad that can be, but at its worst, it's lungs filling with secretions we can't control, so people feel like they're drowning. It's young people needing kidney transplants because their kidneys can no longer process what's happening, so their body shuts down, and it's blood that has deranged clotting factors, so we're fighting against blood clotting in people's veins, and it's not a nice way to die, and that's not something anyone deserves to go through. And so yeah, I think the environment at the minute, we are facing something unknown as to how we're going to come out the other side of this. There is great hope that we are of course going to, that everyone's working hard on vaccines and there are drug trials and there's so much effort and science going into this that is just incredible and just makes you so proud to be part of something like this. What nurses pull off and make look like effortless, kind of just caring actions, and what they are actually assessing and the science that is going into every action, every question, is incredible. And I think when push came to shove, yeah, the clinical professions really did show just what they were made of, and that's been a really wonderful thing to see when it's obviously something I feel so passionately about, and a group of professionals that I think are capable of magic. The whole world saw it, and that's incredible. What that leads to will, I think, almost define that, but that's a question for the future at this point as to what happens in health and social care next, I think.
11,401 people are currently in hospital with coronavirus, down from 11,768 the previous day.
A sense of community can be a big thing that's missing, and yeah, during the COVID period, I'd say I didn't have that sense of community, talking to neighbours, struggling through this together. It's more a case of me and my housemates going through it. And I'd say staying in one place all day is not good for one's mental health. And from my experience, it's been tough at points. So music has been a therapeutic exercise, I'd say. But aside from that, I just love bashing out to rock songs I love or bands that I love to listen to when my housemates aren't in. I've had more purposeful time to talk to loved ones, more now than ever, because I've made a concentrated effort to check on people, and that's quite refreshing, I'd say, and that's a good silver lining to this period of time. If I was to describe it to future generations, I'd go with the message of appreciate the liberal rights you have now, assuming they have those liberal rights that we had prior to COVID-19. So I think that's how I describe it. And I'd definitely be an advocate for hygiene, you know, carry hand sanitizer and wash your hands.
A lot of people are protesting right now with the George Floyd. Are you going to go to the protest during COVID-19?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's a moral obligation for me. For me, I feel like this is a really key time in history and also just in society to have this topic be at the forefront of people's minds and just raise awareness and increase understanding as to how it can be for a lot of black people. COVID-19's kind of put a limelight on it, right?
The East End of, London is a very multicultural place, isn't it? So it's nice because you get a bit of everything,
Just the diversity of the culture and the patients we're therefore unfortunately seeing present to intensive care because there are statistically higher risk factors.
If you're poorer, and I guess if you're poorer, the chances are you're more likely to be an ethnic minority, you are more likely to suffer the consequences of COVID-19.
Children and families in poorer backgrounds are living in cramped quarters that some people have no recourse to public funds.
I mean, for me, I've learnt very much about myself, about my relationship with other people, my relationship to work, my relationship to money. And I'm like, those things don't mean anything if we haven't got a fabric of society that is outwardly happy about itself. So I don't go and spend 10 quid down at the shops. But the person behind me has got 3 kids and a dog to feed with that £10. It's not, it's all relative.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be from a healthcare perspective, right? Because if you are poorer, the chances are you do more blue-collar labour. So you're a cleaner, or you're sweeping the roads, you work on the railway tracks or something. And if you're lucky, you're furloughed. If you're not a British citizen, you're probably not going to get the benefits from the government. So you can't afford to live, That's a different avenue of how COVID-19 can affect ethnic minorities.
Ethnic minorities are a majority in towering hamlets. Numbers once visceral seem meaningless on page. So in communities of hamlets we tower up together and remember the space between silence and rage.